Hola Madridistas. We come to you after a week of madness and maybe even joy for all of us. It wasn't easy, but we got there in the end. But there's no time to rest on our laurels. We got to face off against Bayern in 2 weeks, and in between that, somehow secure La Liga so that we can focus on the semis. So El Clasico is probably the last hurdle we have to jump to actually clinch our top spot in La Liga. So without further ado, let's get the episode started with a word from our sponsor, Manscaped, the pioneers in male grooming who sell anything you can imagine, all the way from shampoos and facial cleansers to ball trimmers, so that you can feel your smoothest this UCL season. Use code LBR20 at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. That's LBR20 at manscaped.com. Joining me on this preview is Farouk, the newly turned Ancelotti stan, after the showdown at the Etihad. Talk to us, man. How was the City game for you? It's been a few days. Have you had time to process all the madness?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it was. I turned, Ancelotti's son that for just, after the game and all that, and yeah, it was horseshit football, but it was horseshit football that got you to this to the semis, So there is that, but yeah, it just shows that we need to do a lot of work, man. There's a lot of things that need to be done, a lot of things that need to get better, but yeah, man, I just, let's just enjoy what we have while we have it, and yeah, we just have to, appreciate that this is crowded, like whatever my reservation is, whatever it is, not like, man, he's there again, like that's how many semifinals now, it's and he always finds a way to go through. But yeah, as well, it was a toss of a coin, but we take whatever it is that we take.
Yeah. Somehow got through in the end, and I think it taught a lot of our fans to maybe trust in Carlo even when we see things are not going as well on the pitch. But it seems like that's part of the plan. Suffering is always part of the plan for Real Madrid. So hopefully we can trust our team more in the coming games. Although, like this week for me, the major revelation was just the state of La Liga, and how this week is going to have maybe an impact on the end of the season in La Liga for us, because Atleti and Barcelona are out unexpectedly, and the only focus they have right now is La Liga. Meanwhile, us, we're the only Spanish team still alive in the competition. We need to have like one foot in La Liga and one foot in the UCL as well. So, Faruk, do you think that's gonna have any bearing on the rest of the games?
I actually do not think so, because I think irrespective of what happens in this game, we still have 6 games, if I'm not mistaken, more to kind of recuperate stuff. But yeah, of course, morale is always important, and football is a game of momentum. That's something that we know as also. You don't want to lose any momentum and stuff like that, especially coming off of the high of winning at City. You want to go to this game and at least not lose. Even if you're not winning, you don't want to lose this game, so you're able to build morale towards the final stretch of the season. But as you said, I feel like I really definitely share the sentiment that we win tomorrow at the Bernabeu, and like we are just champions in the waiting. I feel like there is nothing that can happen from now till the end of the season, and I also feel like that gives us the leeway to kind of ease our way as well into the Bayern game. Because we know Bayern literally are fighting for nothing. They're out of the Pokal already. There's a new champion in Germany already, so they're just playing for the UCL and the UCL only. You understand? So because of that, they also are gonna be well rested, try new things, change players and stuff like that. So if also we can have that luxury of being able to shuffle, change around without having the fear of too much. So that's gonna be, because as let's not forget, like we saw how gassed the players were. Like Jude literally was just there on the pitch, but like he had nothing left. We know how Federa has played literally almost every game this season available. So those guys, and also the ability to ease Militao back and get him to full fitness before the game in 2 weeks and all that. So I think it's a it's something that's, when you look at it like in the grand scheme of things, yeah, even whatever happens in the game might not eventually decide what happens at the end of the season, but it could have an influence on what happens.
Yep, could be. And I feel like that's got to be a fine margin, or like fine way to handle the minutes, especially if we're still alive in the UCL. I feel like we still, if we do win in El Clasico, then all the fans are going to be like, hey, just start Arda the rest of the game, start Joselu, don't play anyone else in La Liga again, just wrap these guys up in wool. But then we got to maintain momentum. We got to learn, not forget how we play together as a team, so that we just yeah, it's so important with momentum, and there needs to be a fine balance. I just hope we can strike it. And but before we get to that, but we absolutely need to secure La Liga so that we have that option in front of us to actually rest some players.
I totally agree with you. Definitely, I couldn't agree more. Like that's the thing. Like we need to make sure that we secure that before we get to that point. It's I think it's really really absolutely important, 100% that we're able to secure the game tomorrow. And as I said, like the point is just even if you don't win, do not lose. You understand? I feel like even whatever happens, as long as we can maintain at least that 8 point gap, I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
I definitely do think we're good to go with 6 games left. So whatever happens, if that doesn't happen, so I think like we're good to go. And yeah, what you mentioned comes into play. Giving players, trying out new things, seeing what's going to happen with the players. Because as things stand, we know Carlo is going to be the guy next year as well. So why not? He might just start his preseason now as well and see what's happening and what's not happening. So yeah.
Oh wow, we are already looking to next season, yeah. But I don't know, man. So another thing to note is that do you expect that we will see what we saw at the Etihad ever again? Like, do you feel like we'll ever go to that length to park the bus, maybe against Bayern or PSG?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the easy thing to do, no? I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, it's the easy thing to do. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's the easy thing to do. Like, why do you think small teams defend? Because that's the easy thing to do.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of guts, a lot of balls, a lot of courage to actually go out and go all out and attack. And unfortunately, I don't want to call Ancelotti a coward, but like he's an experienced man. He knows that okay, yeah, like there is no need to go there. You just need to put 2 or 5 and hope for the best. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then you lose 4-0, you lose 5-0. That's just the thing.
Mhm.
So and it was really, I think the first goal Rodrigo scored was really important in that game. I think that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. I don't know if he would have, done the 2-1 or 5 if Rodrigo had not scored. I don't know, honestly. But yeah, it set the tone for the game and, it worked. It worked. That's the thing. But like, if you're saying, do I expect to see this again? Definitely. Against Barcelona, no. But against, Bayern or Paris, if it was them or whatever it is, I definitely do expect to see that again.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel
I
about
mean,
that. I couldn't really handle
it's sad.
the game at the Etihad. It was so difficult to just sit through it. But yeah, let's hope it doesn't come to that.
It's
Yeah.
sad. It's sad. I mean, the point is, when you keep saying, let's hope it doesn't come to that, like, I mean, we know who is at the helm, I
Man,
keep
like
saying the man is 65
you
years
know
old,
why I'm
1
like
million years old.
hopeful.
He's
I
not going to
just I
change.
just feel like Man City are like a different beast, and then compared to Bayern, like we can afford to go forward a bit more and press higher up.
No, I think yeah, obviously I agree. So that's Man City are a totally different proposition. I totally get what you're saying there, but what I'm saying is that let's not forget we went to Paris in the first leg as well, and we barely got out of the half,
Yeah,
and we needed a Benzema hat trick in the second leg to cancel everything out. Like, I mean, let's not forget that was just last season,
it was. Yeah,
I'm sorry, not last season, 2 seasons back.
like
2 seasons
2022.
back, sorry,
Yeah,
yeah. Exactly. It was 2 seasons back, right? So that's it. Like, let's not forget, we went to Paris and we barely got out of the house. Like, we came out of that game because Thibaut saved phenomenally from what's he called? From Kylian Mbappe. I think Thibaut had 3 saves or something like that. Something like that, It took literally a moment of individual brilliance from Kylian Mbappe to actually break the deadlock. So that's the thing. Like, it's not like these are isolated events, Jacob. Like, these are things that we should come to accept and accept. I think it's sad considering the personnel that we have, but it is what it is. People will be like, oh, but Arsenal has gone there and done that. Yeah, but Liverpool also go there and play toe to toe with these guys.
yeah,
So that's the thing. It's not like oh yeah, this is this and this is that. Of course, like everyone has the approach, and there is no right or wrong. If Carlo have lost the game, of course, like we will all be out for his head, But he is won, and we're giving him his flowers. You understand? But when you say I not expect this or expect that, I feel like it's gonna be a 50-50. But I don't know. I feel like because like Bayern as well are not like literally flying on all cylinders as well. Maybe there will be an invitation for us to to attack them. But then everyone knows how highly I rate Thomas Tuchel as well. And let me even borrow Mo's word right now, they're one of the worst matchups for Real Madrid. And Thomas Tuchel thing is one of the worst matchups for Real Madrid. So that's also something that we have to just keep in mind. But Yeah, man. I mean, we're in the semis playing Bayern Munich. Like, we're not gonna go into that match scared, man. Like, we definitely are the favorites in that game, unlike the game against Man City. And I do hope that we do that justice and find our way to the final. Like, how do you get to the final? The point now is just to win the trophy. That's the thing at this point in time now. After the whole Man City thing, I think the point is just you shouldn't go through that. Haram football and like go out at the semi final. Like, I mean, it will have been
Yeah.
all for nothing.
That would be peak. But yeah, now that you put it into perspective, has kind of been our go-to strategy whenever we are put in a difficult situation, right? And so it's nothing
Yep.
new. It's just that it was really shocking to see it throughout the whole 120 minutes at the Etihad. Yeah, but like Carlos said in his post match, it was pretty much the only way to win the game, and we somehow did it. But yeah, man, let's actually preview the El Clasico. So, like you said, a draw would be still not the end of the world. It would actually be pretty beneficial for us, considering Girona absolutely dropped the ball. They're 5 points behind Barca. We have nothing to fear from them. So, as long as we don't lose, we should be fine. But do you see like maybe a very different kind of game compared to what we saw in the Super Cup or maybe the first leg in La Liga this season? Or do you see maybe more of the same? Because more like, don't get us wrong, it's like mostly the same Barcelona. It's just that maybe some of their more injured players had a lot of more time to sink in, like Pedri, De Jong. They're all back. There's a new centre back who's playing well with the ball, at least, Kubarsi. Do you see anything different happening this time around?
I think the thing I would say for this is that Barca are coming, out of an exit to the UCL, right? So like they want to show reaction, and especially considering the whole bullshit that has been going on around them with the whole Gundogan saying this should not have been sent off, for the way this, criticizing Araujo, and Araujo being like, yeah, I wouldn't talk about that. That's something that should remain in the room, and all those kind of things. I feel eventually that's something that would light a fire in them, and they want to be like, okay, yeah, there is no better response than going to the Bernabeu and winning and closing the gap to 5 points. Even if we don't win the league, at least we will go out fighting.
Yep.
So I kind of feel like that's something that might play a bit of a role. It might become, a fight of Barcelona trying to prove a point, against the Real Madrid that literally is just coming up from a high, and that's been, the games after this kind of, morale boosting victories are like really, really dangerous, because you might get a bit lax in the sense that, oh, like the high was really, really good and stuff like that. But then again, these are Real Madrid players. They are professional players. Like, there's a reason why they're at this club. You understand, whether we like some of them or not, but like there's a reason why they're at this club. So they need no motivation to know the importance of a game like El Clasico. But yeah, anyways, to summarize my answer to your question, yeah, I feel like the context of this is different. Like, Barcelona literally is a wounded animal now. Like, they've been the subject of fun, throughout Europe this past week. So I think they will be looking for a response.
Yeah, man. Just to add on top of that, I feel like it's probably Xavi's last chance to, at least in the next year or this year, to actually leave a mark and leave at least some happy memories behind for Barca fans. Because I know he announced already that he's probably leaving at the end of the season, but yeah, this could that also weighs in definitely for this game. But my question is this, Farooq, like, do you think if Xavi went deeper into the Champions League, maybe went to the final or won the UCL, would he have stayed?
I think no. I think I think one thing as well is that, like, it's just like he's tired of the whole thing, and I feel like that wouldn't have mattered. Like, if anything, like, he wanted to win that to have, like, a final goodbye. Like, to have, like, to go out on a high. But I don't think that necessarily would have affected or what he felt or what he didn't feel.
Yeah, could be. So it was totally up to Xavi, yeah? You don't think it was up to the Barca board that he stayed or he left?
I think it was just a writing on the wall, and I felt like it's like owning the narrative. Like, I've been shit at my job, and I know that there's something that might well happen. I'll just be like, yeah, I'm quitting. Yeah, they'll be like, oh, thank you already. We're gonna cite you anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. Especially like my most the memory that most stands out to me from Xavi is that whenever like the stakes get so high, he just gets so involved in the game that he managed to get himself sent off, and he has to watch the rest of the game from the stands. I just feel like that's the most funniest thing that I got out of his like 2.5 years. Is it uh, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
It's always funny.
Yeah, but I mean that's like it's he won them the league, so like we cannot discount that. They are the defending champions still. So we never can discount that whatever it is. So yeah, Xavi one way or another, he made his mark. He's there. So well he leaves. Another one comes, and I think again the reason why I say I don't think it would have mattered is because like when you look at the caliber of coaches that might be on the market in the summer, it's it would be interesting, if you're gonna like keep up with Xavier and see what he's gonna give or what he's not gonna give. You understand? So
Yeah.
it's you can you might want to go with experience and people like Thomas Tuchel, or you might want to go with new and bright ideas and people like De Zerbi, from Brighton. You might even be looking towards okay, like maybe we can convince Jurgen Klopp in the middle of the year to take over. Stuff like this. So that's the thing. Like let Klopp have it. Let Klopp have his summer. And if there's anything like the whole more than a club mantra, a club of the, a club of the community and all this. It's something that resonates very, very strongly and very closely to Jurgen Klopp as well. So maybe this might be a reason why Barcelona might be holding out for that as well. So all these dynamics plays into play, and you feel like okay, yeah, like do we want to continue this uncertainty? Like if he goes, we can get Tuchel in the summer. Nagelsmann is an option maybe after Germany finishes. You look at younger coaches like De Zerbi is an option. You look at Amorim at Sporting is an option. So these are things that I feel like because of that, I just feel like there might not have been a return for Xavi anyways.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. Now that you say like there's so many good quality coaches that are like maybe out of a job or like looking for something new in the summer. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah, and then there's Real Madrid, the dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see like where Xabi Alonso ends up at the end of the season. But yeah, first we have to get to the end of the season, man.
No, Xabi Alonso is staying. Xabi Alonso is staying. He's not
Staying.
moving this year.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So there's a comment from Ricardo. He says, "I take a draw. Realistically, this Barca team is a few steps below us. We should be beating them, obviously, but I'm expecting heavy rotations after a Herculean effort against the state of Qatar."
Nah, I kind of agree with the first part where he take a draw. But the last sentence where he is expecting a rotation, I just don't see that happening.
Really, like
I mean, this is the
even
Clasico.
those players
This is
who absolutely ran their legs out, like Carvajal, Vinicius, you think those guys?
I mean, Carval already is like, a 50-50 anyways. Like the man literally could not continue. He had to be subbed, Militao had to be thrown it. So yeah, that can be understandable, but I just don't see the Viniciuses or like the Jude Bellinghams or the Fede Valverde's like being rotated, the what's it called? Yeah, I just don't see that, man. I mean, man, I see even Cruz starting the game, man. I mean, the man is 1 million years old, but I still see Cruz starting this game, man.
Yeah, sure.
Cruz, Rudiger, I still see those guys starting the game. I mean, I'm not expecting to see Brahim Diaz start this game. I wouldn't lie. I mean, I'm not expecting Diaz in this game. Lucas Vasquez, yeah, because this guy might be out, Carvajal, but I'm not expecting, to see the Dani Ceballos and those guys now.
Yeah, definitely not Dani Ceballos for sure. But yeah, man, it depends on the fitness of maybe the guys who actually had to get subbed out because of maybe pulling their calf. We need to see the extent of their, fitness to actually evaluate if we can expect any rotations, if at all. So yeah. Japado Umblagata says, Hala Madrid, fresh out of the Champions League quarterfinals. What's good? Yeah, man, it's all good. It's just that the work never stops. Now we're on to the next game. It's hard, especially just 3 or 4 days to come out and face Barca. When they've had a bit of a longer rest and playing 120 minutes against Man City. It's gonna be peak. It's definitely gonna be weighing into this game. But hopefully we can get the job done earlier in the half, or maybe even hold out for a draw. You never know. And Jabada also says, shout out Farooq with a sterling cut. Oh yeah, it is a sterling cut.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for the shout out, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. It's actually fresh out of the saloon, man. Just for this, so just for the Clasico.
Yeah, it's the Clasico cut. So, what did you ask the barber? Did you ask for, hey, make me look like Sterling?
So actually, what happened was like, if you remember in the past, I had this before I came to Milan actually, but I hadn't done it since I was in Milan. So I called the saloon to like kind of book an appointment and be like, okay, yeah, like what time are you guys cool? And they were like, okay, you can come by 4:30 and shit like that. And I went there, and there was a lady, a very elderly lady, like 50s and stuff like that. And she started to speak English, and the way she spoke English, it had like a Nigerian accent. And I was like, "Excuse me, but are you from Nigeria?" She's like, "Oh yes, how do you know?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, this, I'm also Nigerian and all that." Saying is like, I just read, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, like honestly, I have nothing in mind. Like, just do whatever you wanted." She just like showed me a picture on her phone, and she was like, "I can do this. It's quick and it doesn't take too much effort. Like, I mean, it's not also as it's not because when you do the braiding thing, like it kind of like pulls your scalp. So like for the first day, it's like really painful. Like you have a strong headache."
Right.
So she was like, "This doesn't, have that because if you see like these are like quite thicker. They're not like very thin. They're not thin and fine. So like these are just like kind of thick and rough." So she was like, "That's quick and it's not also painful, so I can just do that." I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's do that." So that was it, and eventually I became Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, but looks like the lady had your back. It looks good, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
all
mean,
right.
it's game knows game. Like Nigeria meets Nigeria, bro. Like, what are you expecting?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, man. Let's maybe before we go for a short ad break, let's go through the Barca lineups. Uh, I'll I'll maybe just shout out the team that started against PSG. Maybe you can predict just the changes that you can expect from that team. So Ter Stegen started in goal. It was Kunde at right back, Araujo centre back, Kubarsi at centre back, Cancelo at left back, and then in midfield it was Pedri, Gundogan, De Jong. Up top it was Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Rafinha. So the question is, it's like, do they switch out their successful tactics or successful lineups just to, protect against Vinicius? Is Araujo going to be moved? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, I think they would most likely move Araujo to like accommodate again, the whole Vinicius thingy because like to some extent like there's been a success here and there, and also I think Kunde. But yeah, I don't know, but who replaces if Araujo goes back to the fullback, then does Kunde goes back to centre back, or if there's another player that they will show off of the centre back? I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, honestly.
Yeah,
To have Araujo as a fullback and Kunde as a centre back. I think that's something that I mean, I feel like the defense, the back line will still remain same, but just the position of where Kunde starts might be the subject of discussion.
right. Man, do you realistically do you feel like Araujo playing at right back has been like a difference maker for Barca? Because lately, like I just don't feel like it's preventing a lot of stuff from Vinicius. He's having free reign in the past couple of games.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you talk about the last two games, right? Like when you go back and take the sample size to the last 8 games, like it's really bleak. Like I mean, at best it's a 50-50. You know,
Yeah,
at best it's a 50-50. So like, yeah, I get your point. Like, of course we have the recency bias. The last two games, Vinicius was on a tear, of course, definitely. But when you stretch it back to not just 2 games, but rather the last 6 to 8 games, the success has been there. You understand? We cannot deny that. The success has definitely been there. So I feel like it's a 50-50, man. Like, what do you want to do? Like, you just roll the dice and see, like, hopefully it happens. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, yeah, but you've tried. Because the point is, if you're putting Jose Kunde against Vinicius Jr., I'm sorry, like, you already know what's going to happen.
yeah. And you don't see any type of like weird thing that they do just to prevent our wingers, like play five at the back. I don't know.
I,
Uh,
I think Sergio Roberto, because if I'm not mistaken, in the first leg at Paris, like in Paris as well, like, they played Sergio Roberto to kind of like negate the wingers that Paris had.
yeah,
So that might be something that might happen in the middle of the park. So like rather than playing Pedri, Gundogan, and Dion, maybe there might be an introduction for Sergio Roberto there, or maybe even he might be playing all three of them and adding Sergio Roberto, but rather introducing Lamine from the bench or something like that. Because I just can't imagine like Rafinha has been on fire, so Rafinha literally is not going to be dropped for this game. Lamine, on the other hand, I'm not too sure. I don't know because I haven't seen all of Barcelona. I don't know how prominent he is for them or lack thereof. Like, would he be the sacrificial lamb, or would, what's going to happen or what's not going to happen? But yeah, so I think that's one thing that I would look out for. It's like like they filling in the park, in the middle of the park, with an extra midfielder, an extra body, basically, to kind of like reduce our presence in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, man, that's actually a very fair shout. But no matter what, do you see Lewandowski absolutely starting? Because he hasn't like really lit the world on fire in the last few games.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you have a player like Lewandowski, man. You just have to hope that it clicks because you know that the day it clicks, like it's gonna happen big time. So yeah, I definitely see Robert Lewandowski starting this game, 100%, no doubt.
Okay, so pretty much close to the same lineup. It's just that they might make a few adjustments, push Araujo out wide, or maybe introduce Sergio Roberto in midfield. But yeah, probably the same lineup that we saw against Paris Saint-Germain. Rajat says Cancelo is average at defending. Yeah, that's a very viable option to actually target them. The only problem is if Cancelo is playing at left back, we absolutely have no right wingers. We have nothing in the right side.
Yeah, that's also something as well, right? So it's the the formation also might be quite interesting, how it's gonna happen or like there. So I don't know, but would you be surprised though to see like the target go moving towards Cancelo? Like okay, you have Conte here, and they'll be like, okay, with the whole situation where we had like Rodrigo play against, and Vinicius move centrally in the City game as well. I don't know, like I think that might be something because you have just to you want to target something, right? You want to exploit something, but I don't know. Would that be something you would expect from Carlo? I would honestly answer firstly. I do not expect jack shit from Carlo, honestly, but yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like this game just came too soon. It's just that there's not going to be a lot of adjustments from our team. Plus, you have to take into account that Vinicius and Rodrigo, both of them, they don't really do that well from the right hand side. So even if it's much weaker Barca defense on the right, I just feel like it cuts out too much from our attacking capabilities as well. So probably, even though Carlo knows it's going to be hard for these guys, it's probably Vinicius and Rodrigo on the left. Why stop? Why do you want to mess with something that's already working?
Very valid point. Why do you want to mess with something that's already working? That's very true. Actually, you cannot argue against that.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely, man. And one more comment before we go for an ad break. So Rajat says, have to put Rudiger on Lewandowski. He is kind of the main man, and we don't really have to worry about Rafinha because Mendy is going to be pocketing him indefinitely.
but Rafinha is playing on the other side. He's playing at if I remember
So
correctly, like
on
he
Carvajal side, yeah.
attacks the Carvalho wing. Yeah, and if Lucas Vasquez is starting there, bro, the man's gonna feast. And whether you like it or not, like Rafinha actually is balling these days. Rafinha is in really, really good form.
Yep. I feel like the danger is like not just Rafinha playing out wide, trying to cut across or dribble at you. I feel like that's not his strength right now. He's just making so many good incisive runs into the box and getting on the end of chances. I really feel like if our midfielders don't pick him up or our centre backs also like really forget about him, like it's gonna be trouble. So it's not really going to be up to Lucas
Yeah,
Vasquez, man.
yeah.
It's about the whole team defending and making sure you cover all the runners.
No, that's very true. But eventually you still have to also fight those individual battles. They're going to be the isolated situations and what is not. And the thing about the swingers is that when they're in form, they're in form, and that's it doesn't matter if they're making the runs or if they're finishing the goals or like dropping wingers and dropping defenders rather and stuff like that. So it's going to be quite interesting. But yeah, anyways, let's see, man. I mean, I don't know if you have any news on Danny Carvalho and how fit or lack thereof he is, but we will see tomorrow.
Yep, we will see tomorrow. Yeah, let's go for that ad break. Let's have Doris take it from the top.
This episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions Manscaped, and this season we partnered up with them to make sure everyone's grass is cut up to standard because Xavi has been complaining and it's been annoying our secretary. So join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this special offer. Go to manscaped.com, use code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at checkout. So introducing this season's MVP is the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's a trimmer with two blade heads, one to just take, a little off the top, or the foil blade basically to go super smooth. And you can use this in the shower. It has two bright LED spotlights, so there's no accidents in the shower. And yeah, it's waterproof, it's easy to clean. You can put this in your travel bag, in your drawer. So to get the full grooming experience, you should get the Beard Hedger Pro Kit and the Handyman Electric Face Shaver. Basically, you get extra parts to really create your signature look and clean up your neckline. So use code LBR20 at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping. That's LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And thank you for watching. Back to the video.
Oh yeah, we're back, Farooq. We just got back. So yeah, guys, let's. I guess we are done with the Barcelona. Don't expect a lot of surprises. It's just that they might make a few adjustments just to combat our midfield and our attack. So yeah, let's I guess head on to the Real Madrid lineups. The only thing is to consider is the fitness of players. What else? Tchouaméni is back, so that's gonna be a boost. It just we just have to decide where he starts. Is he gonna be at CB? Is he gonna be at CDM? We don't know. But yeah, someone who might know is Farooq. Farooq, do you know, man? What our back line is gonna look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna see again. Tony Rudiger. Definitely, there is no, there is no talk about it. I think it's Tony Rudiger. I think it's, it's Ferland Mendy. I think where the question remains is with Nacho, and I think Nacho would be continue. Nacho's form against the City will be rewarded. With a continuous start in the middle of the park. Sorry, in the center of defense. And yeah, depending on how fit Carvajal is, or like the of Lucas Vazquez might take the reins. But yeah, again, I just want to shout out Nacho. And I know everyone, including myself, we're complaining about the fact that Nacho has been out of sorts lately. But come at the hour, come at the man. The moment came, and he literally he was there. He was there every time. If Rudiger wasn't manhandling Haaland, he was there making sure that his presence was felt. And what a penalty as well.
Yeah.
He was a leader of the team, and he led by example. Took the pen, scored the pen. So credit to Nacho, honestly, credit to him.
Absolutely, man. So how about Mendy? Like, do you think he gets a rare rest? No chance, right?
I think there might be a chance there, but the question now becomes, who do you throw in there? You want to throw in Camavinga? Like, if Tchouaméni is back, you throw in Camavinga, and Tchouaméni is back, not if rather. Tchouaméni goes to the bottom of the middle of the park, and Cruz steps a bit up, and it's business as usual. But I don't know if you wanna Carlo will look towards resting Ferland Mendy just yet, because eventually what you have to look is that like the midweek is free, right?
Yep.
So it's a free midweek, and everyone gets to rest and regain the energy on what is and what is not. So it's just like, okay, let's get one last push, and we win this game, we win the title, basically.
It's true. Yeah, it's like that's not even like a very outrageous statement. You win this, for sure you win the title. Yeah, man. So I guess let's move on to the midfield. Like, unless Carvajal is super gassed, he can't make it. I fully expect him to start as well, because I did hear from one of the postmen, I forgot who it was. Someone said someone was asked about, hey, like, how is Vinicius and Carvajal, and then he basically said they're both dancing in the locker room right now. So it's not that they're like super dead or anything. It's just fatigue. Hopefully, these 3 days are enough to bring them back. So yeah, in midfield, do you actually think it's just Camavinga gonna take the fall? He gets a bit of rest, or who else starts? Maybe Modric starts in place of Cruz. Is that a possibility?
Okay, yeah, let's just name the two obvious in Fede Valverde and Jude Bellingham. Taxis, debts, Fede and Jude. Okay, that's there. And does Luka Modric start? Honestly, I'm skeptical, man. I think it's just going to be Tchouaméni, then Toni Kroos again.
Yeah, Toni Kroos did not have to play the whole 120 minutes. He got subbed out by
Exactly.
Modric, and
Exactly.
Modric was putting in the hard yards as well towards the end of the match.
Exactly, man. So I think Modric came on. I think immediately after City scored, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep,
Almost around
he did.
17. Yeah.
He's our plan B right now.
Yeah. So I think it's Tony Kroos is just gonna continue his run in the team, man.
So what we're saying is there's absolutely no chance that Fede or Bellingham gets rested, yeah?
So yeah, man. I just don't see that happening, man. At least not tomorrow. Maybe sometimes, maybe next week, yeah. But like tomorrow, I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, 100% agree. Up top, probably what we're saying is it's Rodrigo and Vinny. Rodrigo, again, did not have a lot of minutes. It's just Vinny who played so many minutes and, got totally gassed. Do you see a rare start for Rodrigo and Brahim and, maybe bring Vinny on later just to throw them a curveball with Araujo and everyone?
Not happening, man. Definitely not happening.
Oh, wait. Farooq, you there? Okay, you're back. We cannot hear you though. I can just see you.
You cannot hear me.
Oh, I can hear you now. Perfect.
Oh, sorry, just kind of disappeared. I don't know why that happened. Actually, like it was a call from 14 FaceTime. Anyways,
Okay. Yeah, I guess it.
I guess.
Uh,
I put it on DND. Sorry about that. Anyways, well, I think like it's just gonna happen. Like playing against Barcelona in the Clasico, arguably your best and most dangerous outlet, being on the bench. I just don't see that happening, man. I mean, players are built for this kind of games, man. Like players literally want to play these games. If you would ask any player, like, do you want to play Cadiz and Girona, or like, do you want to play City and Barcelona? They will choose you play City, Barcelona every day of the week. That's the bread and butter. I mean, if you're at this level of football, you're not here to play, actually, I added Girona to that list. That was my bad. When I play Cadiz and Rayo Vallecano or some shit like that. Yeah,
yep, for sure. This
that's
actually reminds me of
it.
something. Do you remember Rafael Varane's quotes? I think it was before the City game that he revealed that he actually might have had a concussion that led to all of those mistakes, And then it's
Yeah,
just
yeah, I
it's on the
remember
same
that.
lines.
Yeah.
It's like he knew that he wasn't maybe at 100%, but he wanted to play the game so badly that he didn't tell anyone. He just wanted to go out and play.
No, I remember it was a game where I think Sterling scored, or like Sterling and Jesus scored, right?
Yep.
I think. And both of them were Varane's missed. And it was in the COVID season, like the quiet stadiums and stuff. It was the second leg of the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So yeah, I do remember that game a lot. I remember that game very well. Yeah. Well, that's exactly that. Just fits into the narrative. Like players want to play these kind of games. That's their bread and butter, especially players at this level. They want to play these games to test themselves, to show, because this is a game where literally every single person is watching. It's a Clasico. You're literally just the world stops for this game, man. Everyone just stands still, and for 90 minutes. Of course, like the game hasn't lived up to the caliber of what he lived up to, like 5-6 years ago. But yeah, still like it's Barcelona and Real Madrid, man. So like yeah, they definitely want to start this game.
Yeah, totally agree as well. Jabara says, I can see Carlo resting either Fede or Camavinga and Modric and Cruz playing from the start with Tchouaméni in midfield. Hopefully, we'll see more of Arda as well. But Cruz and Modric starting, like, why would you want to give Camavinga a rest? I feel like he's young, he can still play, and it's not like Barca are gonna make you run 90 minutes. I just feel like if we want to give some of our midfielders rest, it can be in the second half when we bring Modric or someone on, maybe even Ceballos, God forbid.
Yeah, man. I just I don't see the Tony and Luka combination happening in the Clasico, man. Yeah. Honestly, I don't see that. I definitely do not see that. Well, Camavinga maybe can get the rest, because if Tchouaméni comes back into the team, we know Fede and Jude most likely are like turned in. So it leaves just one position, and it's Toni Kroos, Camavinga, Luka Modric who gets that, and I'm leaning towards Toni Kroos. So I can understand, Camavinga might get the rest that he's talking about, and Camavinga might come on, Camavinga, Modric, Arda, depending on what the game is, even Brahim might come on for, eventually Cruz, Bellingham, and Fede Valverde, down the stretch.
Yeah, man. So what we're essentially saying is we just move Kamavinga out of the starting lineup, put in Xiaomeni, and then it's basically the City lineup again.
Exactly, sir. That's just it.
Yep. Yeah, man. I just hope this game, Carlo doesn't wait until the fucking 75th or 80th minute to make these changes. As soon as we are a bit secure or we need changes, we just need to see changes, man, in the second half as soon as possible. That's the only thing I hope. I'm sure Carlo will also think about it, knowing the fitness of his players. So yeah, that's it from me on the side. Unless you have anything else, let's go to the predictions, Farooq.
Yeah, man, definitely. Let's head towards the predictions, man. And I think it's going to be quite an open game at the Bernabeu. I think it's going to be a bit of a back and forth. So I'm just going to go with a 3-2 Real Madrid victory.
3-2. I actually think if we get maybe a goal, we're gonna try to hold out for a draw, but eventually they're gonna score. It's fucking Barca, and then we have the worst luck. And since these guys are gonna be fired up, I'm just gonna be predicting a 2-2. Joselu and Bellingham to score.
Oh, Joselu and Bellingham. Good shout. Good shout. Good shout.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we
I
don't
mean, I
have
would take that
Ashik
as
in the
well.
chat. I'm sure he would have predicted a Joselu hat-trick again.
As usual, right? As usual. Yeah, as usual. Well, yeah, I mean, I would take the 2-2 draw as well, honestly, because I feel like even the 2-2 draw still will kind of almost cement our title as well. So, but I feel like a victory is just, directly like, just give us the title already. There's no need to play the season.
Oh yeah, if I'm not sure about the mathematical possibilities, but I'm sure if we win both the Sociedad Barca game and then Barca maybe lose one, I'm pretty sure we're mathematically winning. I'm not sure.
I mean, if we now we have 8 points. If we win, it becomes 11, right? So we still have 6 games left. So it means that you have a maximum of 18 points. So we just need to win 2 more games and we're champions.
Yep.
Like we don't even need Barca to lose. We just need to win 2 more games. So basically, by this time we play the second leg at home against Bayern Munich, we could be champions. Actually,
there you go.
We could be league champions. Like if we win tomorrow. So that's just it.
Yeah, man.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Cadiz and Real Sociedad in between that.
Yep. Cadiz right in between the Bayern, both legs. The Real Sociedad immediately after this game.
Exactly. So if we win the next 3 games, we're champions, basically.
Perfect. That's I guess that's the plan, and just chillax after that. But this next 2 weeks, it's gonna be hell on the players. But we will be there. We will be there to support our team, even if we park the bus and whatnot. But yeah, we will be there. Rajat says he will start. He's referring to Carlo. He says he will start Cruz, Camavinga, Xiaomeni, and Bellingham. Luka, Modric, or Diaz will come off the bench in the 65th minute. Oh, so you're actually subbing off Valverde. I don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll happen. We all want to see it. I'm sure Valverde will appreciate it as well. Maybe getting in the odd rest, but I don't think it'll happen. This midfield just does not work out without him.
Yeah, I also don't think that will happen. I just feel like Fede is just too vital, too integral in a game of such magnitude. I think it just doesn't happen in my opinion.
There you go, folks. You have our predictions and our preview, and all of you guys still here. Just smash the likes. It really helps. Since the game is going to be at the Bernabeu, we're going to have some post-match footage from Sid. Do check that out. We also had some content that we collaborated with BBC Sport. I'm pretty sure the video is going to be out as soon as they release it. We're going to be putting it on our socials. So do check in and tune in for that when it's out. And I guess we'd also like to take the moment to thank Manscaped, our sponsor. I know you guys are always asking, hey, can we support you guys? Or you always drop in a text saying, excellent game. If you want us to really show your appreciation, you can maybe consider buying a shampoo or something cheap, something that's useful for you, and it's going to really help out our pod as well. So consider checking out manscaped.com, man, and use the code LBR20 for 20% off. And last but not the least, let's shout out our partners over at Real Madrid Committee on Instagram. They have an excellent channel to check them out and give them a follow. And much love. And that's it, folks. You know what to say, Father.
Hala Madrid!
Hala Madrid.